Here's Rex. It's definitely been a while. He's getting pretty old. Yeah, he's been with us for a lot of years, this guy. Maxing out almost 28 inches at the shoulders and about 80 pounds. Has flushed out probably about 700 parcels and has been hunting probably about 500 times in his life. You know, and every single time he flushes things out, he gets them to come out. Yeah. Ladra. Ladra. Eso, ladra. Eso, ladra. Eso. ¿Qué vaya? Allá. Pachi, ven aquí arriba. Vaya, Rex, vaya. Pachi. Aquí. Oh, and here's Patchy. Same thing with Rex. Not as much as a devout hunter as Rex is, but she's a very good family pet. She is a good hunter, but like I said, not as good as a hunter as Rex is. And she's a very beautiful dog. And yeah, oh, she's about 25 inches at the shoulders and about 65 pounds, 70 pounds at times when she's not as active as she should be, and gets very comfortable with the snacks. But yeah, she still licks faces, still very loving and affectionate. Very strong dog. Oh, okay, wait. So even though they're aging, they're still here. They're still here, part of the family, and hunting and just living our lives. But things have definitely been a bit different these days, and for those reasons, we haven't been able to upload really anything. And I think we can all see with the times that we're in why a lot of us are not as recreational as we used to be. But yeah, she's still, and he is still kicking pretty hard, doing things the way Coonhounds should. And yeah, being part of the family and bringing us joy every day. They're on the farm a lot of the time. And we've also just finished getting quite a bit of land, and hopefully in the next few years we're going to be moving to that land and giving them a place to properly retire in, and if they're going to have offspring, so that we can bring the second generation in with more liberty than they did. Yeah. But that's them in 2021. Hello everybody, and welcome to Wise Warrior's Path. It sure has been quite a while since I've made a video, particularly on this channel. I was doing a lot of martial arts and just making videos on martial arts on a separate martial arts channel. I can leave the link below so you guys can go check that out. But lately what I've been doing is just living my life, working hard, trying to, just provide for my family. And we got a lot of things that are going on in these times, as a lot of people do. And right now we're in a transition so that we can get to the acres that we have bought in, so that we can, live a different life than we are living right now here in the city, and how life has been for the past couple of years, which has affected my ability to make videos. And also the reason why I was making a lot of videos before on my dogs was because I was having an issue in my life personally, and I hadn't had a stable place or a proper place for a long time, mainly because of the dogs in the city. So for a good year of my life, I wasn't living very well. things were very hard for me, and for us, and we had to survive. And while I was surviving, I made an entire series on training my dogs, and I built a pretty good community out of that. And with that, I was able to find a channel called Finley River Kennels, with the guy of the channel called Jeff Lackey, and his sons and his family, who do coon hunting. And he really inspired me a lot. And when I was having those troubles in my life, and when I was training my dogs, not just as a pastime, but as a means to survive, as a means to stay sane in those times, I had a person like that who was really encouraging me and influencing me. And I remember his channel he just was just a regular guy posting videos, doing a little bit of hunting, doing a lot of hunting, and just who Jeff Lackey is on his channel, Finley River Kennels. And I'm going to leave a link for that below so you can check out his channel and go see who he is. And there was a lot of other channels that as well, were part of this community, this coon hunting community. And with it, I trained my dogs on invasive species of rabbits, they on raccoons as well. But because of my region, I could only focus on rabbits, and to keep the hunting spirit alive of this dog, I decided to put him on rabbits. So it was a big coonhound flushing out hundreds of rabbits, and very successful with a coonhound. Just a coonhound and another female coonhound, 2 coonhounds, flushing out invasive species of rabbits, and being very successful at it, going in the briars, dealing with what they deal with like a beagle, and getting it out, sometimes even catching the rabbit itself. And that has been very amazing these past few years. And to think that an 80-pound animal at almost 28 inches at the shoulders is doing the job of a beagle, getting into tight spaces and flushing these things out, being very patient. And even though we did it a lot for recreation, where we didn't actually kill anything, it was very fun for him, very fun for us. It was very rewarding. We always gave him a reward for what he did, which motivated him a lot. Oh, there they go. Calma. Which motivated all of us a lot. We were able to do a lot together as the pack of 3 that we were. And then eventually our pack expanded a little bit, and now we're, because of the dogs and because of not liking too much the city and how current events are, we're aiming now towards living in the country. And yes, our dogs influenced us to do that. People like Jeff Lackey and Finley River Kennels, his channel, influenced us. The community that I was part of helped me influence in that. And as well, because I was living in the city, because I had a different view on dogs, besides hunting, I began to do a lot of obedience training, because a coonhound or 2 coonhounds in the city, living the way we were at that time, with so much regulations on dogs and restrictions and hard to rent places, I had to turn these coonhounds that had a very wild nature, like mine in particular had a very hunting oriented spirit. Rex, from 10 weeks old, just after a few days of having him, he began to powerfully bay at things in the ground. And that's how I got him into rabbits, because that's what was abundant. There's a large problem with invasive species wreaking havoc in the region that we were in, and so we had an opportunity there, and that's what we did. That's the story of our coonhounds. There's deeper details into that I won't get into, the way we were living, in a sense, because at times we didn't really have a place to live, and basically being almost homeless to keep the dogs in a city like this. And also with the way things were going in my life, a few years before that, I was supposed to have a son, and he didn't make it into this world, and there was an issue with the relationship, and just a lot of things, having a hard life as a youth, And yeah, and before I started this channel, I had other channels that are no longer here, and I started off those channels, talking about things that I like, talking about, just what I see in the world, and how I interact with things, making reviews on swords, or talking about history. And then as our political situation in the world began to get worse, I began to become more aware of how things actually are, as we all are. I began to advocate, and the channel that I had, speaking about, wildlife, and showing things about whatever I liked at that time, which was a lot wildlife, reviews on swords and little things like that. Just reviewing things that I like. Just like I said, those channels were originally made just to interact with the world, and make a YouTube channel like everybody else. But then I began advocating, for our free speech, for our rights, not going in the direction we are going today with our governments, which is, I don't believe it's just for our safety, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. And I lost some of those channels, and it really made me depressed, and I ended up making this channel, Wise Warriors Path, which is like the second Wise Warriors Path, because the original one was doing something else, talking about politics, advocating for our rights, as we can see that everybody has to do that today because of the current times that we are in. So a lot of the content that was on those previous channels was speaking about what we are seeing today, and how we need to be able to be safe by being aware, and being able to share, and being able to take information from the right sources, and as well as just have common sense. And that's something that we are lacking definitely a lot in today's world. And with YouTube being a platform that is not just about being free, but it's a platform where you can express yourself. It was a platform that ultimately expressed freedom of speech, for you to have the ability to go away from mainstream. And now YouTube is becoming mainstream. Of course, it's a business. It's a private business, and now it's partnering up with big tech and doing what it's doing right now, along with Facebook. Facebook was always kind of a bit the way big tech is now, but YouTube was a place of freedom. And there was a lot of people that said things that were offensive, things that actually needed to get regulated, that did hurt other people, and but then with free speech, there's other people sharing things that may be offensive to others, but are actually valid opinions that actually need to be heard. And now all that's being, what we're seeing today. And so advocating for that caused me a lot of tension. And with this channel, starting it up again, it's like the system recognizes me, and it's been hard with this channel. And after doing politics for so many years, after at first starting just being a regular guy, just making videos about whatever, going to politics, and then doing this channel to just kind of trying to get away from it, seeing how everything's being, censored, what we're going into, and then this channel. And what ended up happening with this channel is just doing whatever. I did a little bit of martial arts at first. I wasn't very good at it. I was very good at wrestling, but I wasn't very good at striking and throwing punches and kicks, but I kept with it. And you'll see on the channel that I have now, for martial arts, that I've become pretty good at it, or at least good enough, and doing sparring, and I went from wrestling to doing like karate stuff, to doing kickboxing, Muay Thai, getting back into boxing, and just kind of perfecting the form over the years. And with that was the aims of one day being able to be an entry-level coach, being able to train people in fitness, to get in shape, and perhaps a little bit of boxing skills as I get better. So, and with the dogs as well, I was really aiming to have a career, or at least a big, the ability to do something with that hobby of training dogs, which is not just a hobby, it's pretty passionate, and as well as pretty serious for me. And especially having dogs, I don't want them, being rude and being, unpleasant citizens in this society, if you know what I mean. So, oh, there comes Patchy. Oh, she's kind of moving the camera. Okay, go. Vaya. Yeah. Yeah, so that they can be good custodians of society, and yeah, and also how hard it is on dogs in society, in the city, especially for people who are renting, almost discouraging like 90% of people who want a dog from having a dog. And then a lot of people who own a dog have to get rid of their dogs because of those situations. And yeah, that's kind of, I guess, part of the reason why I've clashed with the way this system is, the way we're managed, why I began advocating, because I think that we can do things better. I think that people who want to manage, who want to make our countries good, should have the ability to have a say. And today it looks like, yeah, like big tech, big government, big brother, is just taking over. And of course we need management. We need, in many senses, authority. But it's at the point where we are entering, I'll say it quite frankly, a police state. And that's part of the reason why my channel has had trouble with the algorithm saying certain things, uploading things, putting on my title. And then when you make different channels, they kind of harass you and hound you, almost like you don't have the right to have a platform on the internet anymore. You're not allowed to share your opinions. And I was born in a country that claims to respect free speech. Jeff Lackey, Finley River Kennels, and all the people who are in that coon hunting community out in the United States have a country that respects free speech, or at least it says that it does. That one of its greatest foundations was free speech, was freedom, the ability to have fair pay, fair business, freedoms. But as we know how history has been, that hasn't always been the case. It's always been difficult for some minorities, people, and we know about that. It's well in history. And today, we got the media, the world that we're in, the society that we're in, or at least how our society is being managed by the people we're listening to with these kind of things, and saying that we're trying to improve that. We're trying to give now official equality to everybody. We're trying to make it proper. But what I'm seeing, and what everybody's clearly seeing, is that we're being manipulated. We're being ran in circles. Where new hate is coming up. That's how the media and the big mainstream news is getting a lot of their stories viewed when people don't want the mainstream media anymore. They know that they're being lied to. They know that things are not honest. We know that it's the majority of it's just propaganda. Something not right is going on. And we're seeing how they're trying to crack down and saying, you guys can't get away from us. You're always going to learn from us. In fact, we're going to become authoritarian. We're going to become the authoritative sources that you can only go to. You can't go to any other sources. And in fact, when you want to have fun, even watch a martial arts video, it's got to be like some big sponsored channel. You can't even find the small channels anymore doing martial arts. So this censorship that began on people who are speaking out against bad politics, bad things that clearly are affecting all of us. It's not just a person who's sitting at a bar talking about religion and politics and just having an unpleasant conversation. Oh, these are things that are affecting all of us. They're at all of our doors. And right now we can all see how the system is basically just cracking down on our freedoms because we want to go a different way. And the system that we have is an aristocratic system. It's used to ruling. We literally got ruling families that call themselves the elites of our society. And they try to keep it like that. They try to get their kids elected. They try to get their kids in office. And this is not just like in the White House or in the biggest of parliament. This is like in the smallest parts of society too, affecting all of us, and not just the big way, the big lie, as you say, but in every fundamental way, where our society is being radicalized against itself, where the way the system is gaining more power and being able to get the people back under its control is by fragmenting us, making us hate each other, making us, what we're seeing today, the kind of movements that we're seeing today, how our kids are being educated, how a lot of the mandates that we have today, the direction that they're going. And I am seeing channels and people who are fighting really hard for these rights to be respected. And I was one of those channels. And in a sense, that's why it has hurt me. And I have not been able to make videos on this channel anymore. I'm trying to explain it right now. And to me it breaks my heart seeing Jeff Lackey make a video saying, hey man, how are you doing, you know, come check out this channel. And yeah, guys, right now my channel is in the middle of being censored. I don't even know if my channel is gonna last. And this is not just happening to people who have spoken about politics in the past or currently speak about politics. This is just happening, and this is gonna start happening. It's already happening in general. If they don't like small martial arts channels, then they'll slip them under the rug. Even dog channels, even hunting channels, they're having like specific ones. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because YouTube, it's clear that YouTube is trying to become like a TV, like basically like a TV program. And it's, you know, it's phasing us out, the people, the creators. The system tried that. They had the experiment where people had the ultimate of free speech. Now they say, hey, we want it to be like it was in the 1990s again. Where the only information you ever learned about, the only way you've seen society is how we showed you society. And people still had their religions. We still have our religions. We still have our cultures. But the way that we are influenced by the system with our jobs, everything, the way we pay tax, the way our kids are educated, our cultures and the way we believe in things and our individuality is basically removed from us. And then now this system is saying, hey, not only do we want to keep doing that, we want to go full into it. We want to teach your kids, like, we want to teach them their religion, what they're going to believe in, what they're going to say, everything. You know, and like those channels that are still here fighting, like there's still channels here, especially in Canada. You got Rebel News, you got this pastor named Arthur something. I can leave the link below so you can look him up. If you look at Rebel News, that's like the biggest Canadian outlet fighting right now in the United States. It was like InfoWars and other places, you know, that not everybody agreed with, but it wasn't just InfoWars. It was like thousands of channels and places and platforms, you know, advocating for human rights, for freedom of speech, and all of it's getting removed. And you still got a few of them who are fighting, who are being called bad. People are getting arrested for advocating these things on their channels, for advocating for our freedoms. And it makes me sad. And that's part of the reason why I just stopped making videos. And just a little while ago, I tried making videos on these politics again to show people what's going on, and boom, my channel's censored. You know, the channel's censored. The things can't go anymore. I post a video on my birds, and boom, like my subscribers don't get the notifications. They can't see an upload on the birds. They can't see how I'm doing. I'm even getting and YouTube tries to say that they don't do this, but they're unsubscribing people from channels. You know, so they're basically targeting people. And because you see what I'm saying just in this video alone, you see the recent uploads that I have made, this is why I'm getting censored. And many would say, hey, you know, just go with the program, just go with the flow. No, absolutely not. I look at my child and I say, how can I just go with the flow with tyranny if my child's not going to have a future? It's not even that. It's like, we shouldn't even be having these conversations in a country where we pay into a system, we work into a system, we work together, we work hard, we obey laws. You know, we have the largest system jailing, the largest jail populations are here in North America. And this is what we're going into. We do abide. We do live properly in the society. And when I see gangs and gun violence and all these negative things, I see it almost being influenced by our system. Look at the kind of music that our kids are listening to. Look at the things that they're watching on TV, now on social media, now on Facebook. So many harmful things. And then they're saying that they're trying to protect our kids from harmful things. How the suicide rates have spiked. How, guys, we can't even watch other types of media besides a leftist type of socialist narrative that is tyrannical. We can't even hear a conservative point of view. We can't hear different points of views. It's like the left wing versus the right wing, and we don't even know what the center is. You know, so it's like, this is why I can't really make videos just interacting the way I used to, and why I decided to make martial arts video, because it's just easier hitting a bag. It's easier just punching, swinging, ducking, moving, skipping. Just whenever something frustrates you, you just try hard. You motivate yourself to go forward, and that's what I tried to do with my martial arts. And now I'm getting censored on those channels too. Think about that. Think about that. And people getting censored, not because they're saying anything wrong, but just because YouTube is saying, hey, we can go into the martial arts industry too by making sure that only what we sponsor and post only gets viewed about martial arts. So it's like everything's getting regulated, and then when we try to question it, they say it's for our own good, or this is not happening, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a tinfoil hat, chemtrail believing, flat earth, reptilian believing person. And then with today in the United States, and with the trend of a lot of our governments in the West, anybody who has a different opinion is like some sort of domestic terrorist. You see, it's hard. Well, like, it's hard. It destroys you as a person. Like, you got people who have a different kind of lifestyle, and then you got the majority of people who believe in family, who believe in good things, who believe in good laws, who look at common sense, and they gotta like literally feel like everything they're doing is not right, or that they're unsafe. And they know what's happening, but yet they can't express it without being demonized by the mainstream media. But the thing is that that's only from the mainstream media. And then with what they're teaching your kids, saying no outsiders, you have to look at your gender in a specific way, you know what I'm saying, or in many specific ways, and you can't be orthodox anymore. You can't learn things normally anymore. Dumbing kids down further than they're already being dumbed down in the education system, even further, and we don't got a say in that. We have to be able to have a say in that. That's why we founded these nations. That's why the majority of us immigrate. I immigrated from a country that's doing okay, but it's had its issues. And I immigrated here. My family immigrated here. I didn't have a choice in it. But if I were to immigrated here, it would have been for the same reasons my family did. Legally, and working hard here, contributing in the culture so that we can have a safe country, a safe place to be. A place to where we can raise our kids without worrying about something exploding, in the community. And then to see what we're seeing now. We're not just worried about bad criminals running around. We're worried about the criminals governing us. And now they're trying to say that, hey, if you even say things like this, you're some sort of suspect. You hate the government. You're going after the people who govern us and their families. What do you mean? We're being governed by kings? Where you can't speak out against bad management because now you're assaulting the royal family or something like that? That's what we're seeing today and hurt us. And when I seen that notification on my other channel, because I'm subscribed to Jeff Lackey on two of my channels, because one of them I don't use as much, which is this one, and the other one I was using because I was doing martial arts. I wanted to find a career train so I can become an entry-level coach. Maybe I can have a couple of matches, so that I could show my kids, hey, I boxed, hey, I got a little medal or a little trophy or something, or an award of participation or something like that, so that I can hang it over my gym one day and maybe train students, work with them, show them where I have come from, saying, hey, you can start at a late age. You can be 27 years old, and by the time you're 30, 32, you can be pretty good, even if you feel like you look like a fool and you're stumbling over your own toes. That's what I was doing when I started. That's how I started with my dogs, not knowing how to train my dogs, not knowing what a coonhound does, and adjusting to that because of the beautiful dog that I had, and adjusting to it, And I have learning problems, I got certificate learning problems, and part of the reason why my life was very hard growing up, I grew up with speech impediments. I had trouble that other kids didn't have. When it came to learning, when it came to my social life, and that's why I'm different in a sense. That's why I react more sensitively to things, and when everybody's just saying, hey, get with the program, let's just make videos and avoid slipping on the wrong slope. No, because that's how many youth are left out. That's where the majority of the problems are. We're not voicing ourselves out properly. And that's why I voice myself out. And because I can't voice myself out, that's why I haven't contributed content to YouTube in this form in a long time, besides just martial arts, to see if I can make a community and make a career out of that, so that maybe I can go a different direction. Yes, trying not to slip on the wrong slopes. But now when that gets censored, and I'm watching how many people are getting censored, how many people are getting affected, and then with this new normal, and then seeing that people are protesting, people in Australia and Europe and the United States protesting, but mainly in Australia, seeing what was happening down there, having a reveal of a similar situation we are here in Canada, and that's a totalitarian system that branches off from a British Commonwealth, where it's like we're still part of like the British rule, and we have these representatives that manage our land tenures, where we don't even have proper land ownership. And then whenever they want to install something in the countries that seem the most free and the most good, the most peaceful, we have such an authoritarian system. And watching in Australia people protesting so that they can be able to go to the grocery store, so that they can be able to send their kids to a proper educational system, and people getting shot on the face with rubber bullets. People being left concussed and brain damaged and paralyzed and crippled for the rest of their life. And then there it says, oh, the poor cops and the poor politicians who are being rooted out of office. These bad people, we got to censor them. Folks, what's happening is that people are fighting back. People are advocating for their human rights. It's not just a human rights from the tribunal or whatever, something that was made, because of the UN recognizing human rights on the planet. Guys, it's just our human right by nature to live, to not be oppressed, to not be subjected, to not be enslaved. And then on top of that, on top of the law of nature that goes against that naturally in our instincts, the laws that we have fought for and set. And now those are being transformed and shot out the window, and things about racism and bad people and Nazis and people who want to control others. And this is why we got to do this for everybody's own safety, defund police, defund border security, all this stuff, not have a proper system, anarchy, in the name of what? That's what we're entering right now. So it's like, when I look at the system we are in and its reasons, and the reasons why we're censored, the reasons why we can't have a voice, it's BS. It's absolute bogus. And that's why, folks, a lot of you don't get the notifications of my videos. I think about 3,000 of you that are almost subscribed. I think 2,700 subscribers, and none of you will get these notifications. In fact, from what I'm hearing is that people just are checking up to see how I've been, seeing if I've uploaded any new content, and then seeing that I've been uploading a few videos in the last few months, they don't get the notification. Even when I'm not talking about politics, this is happening on all my channels. And a lot of people are experiencing this, and YouTube saying this isn't happening, this and that. And no, it is happening. We're being censored, and not just being censored for our opinions, but because they're just replacing a lot of what we like. That's what they're doing. Like, you're just being censored not because you're offensive, but because they just don't want you having a platform. They want to do a different thing. They want to influence the kids in a different way. They want to influence your community. They want to influence your little brother, your family who watches these videos, not you. In fact, in your personal life, they don't want you influencing your family. Social distancing. That's why Australia has become such a big conversation piece of tyranny in the last months. How people are living down there. What's happened in France, to the point where people are slapping that French president, throwing eggs at him. And then now here in Canada, Justin Trudeau's staff is trying to say, oh, the politicians that have to retreat because of all the hate directed towards them and their families, we can't have that. They're retreating from the public image because people are democratically ousting them out. And then you got a lot of these people who are imposing these things talking about how they want to model our government after China's government. That's serious. We talk about Hitler and how bad Hitler was. guys, have you guys ever studied what Stalin was? What the revolution of what Red Terrors, Bolshevism? Like, do you guys ever study that? No matter where communism went, no matter how the form of it was, it like Marxism, Stalinism, Leninism, it was all genocide. It's all brutal repression, hatred towards people who they consider unessential. Just complete, like, we're going to feed the poor by killing them, by taking out their leaders and killing them, and finding the non-essential, the people who are the peasants, the people who want freedom, the people who want to have land and be able to have privacy. They're our enemies. You guys ever seen that kind of ideology? We're seeing that ideology right now. That's what's basically managing our systems right now. That's why a lot of people are speaking out. People can see through that. And even the people who have never studied these kind of things and only know about Hitler's crimes and about how we should never be Hitler, see that we have had a darker theme around that time, before that time, and way after that time, still to this time, called communism. What we are seeing today. This is serious. And it is affecting our lives. And people are speaking out against these things. People are using their voice. They are fighting. But they're being censored. But that's okay. You know, just because we're being censored doesn't mean we're not voicing ourselves out. Just because we're being censored on the media doesn't mean every single one of us who speak to our families don't know what's going on. Besides some people, the people who've always been afraid, the people who just listen to everything the media tells them. They jump when they're told to jump. I am sorry, and I respect those people, and I think they're a very important element of our society, believing in the system. Imagine having a church and no one believes in the system, no one believes in God, but you got those people who do. But maybe these people are being misled. I respect these people, but I think that their beliefs and their efforts should be channeled elsewhere and protecting and defending our society, because what's managing us is not managing us properly. And they got these people believing that they just have to be dogs. They just have to be like Rex. Like, he only listens. That's it. He only does what he's told. But if you know Rex and how the Coonhound is, the kind of dog that the Coonhound is, the Coonhound doesn't just listen to you. The Coonhound knows what it wants. It knows what it's been bred for. And it's saying, you know what? I'll listen to you. I know what you want me to do. But I will use my own mind to get there. And that's perfect for a Coonhound. Dogs don't work generally that way. But Coonhounds do. And that's pretty unique. But we are not dogs. We're not Coonhounds. We don't have to be a specific breed or a specific type of person to respect freedom and understand it. And when people in your society are saying, hey, we don't trust this, you don't go and say, you're a bigot, you're bad, you don't support science, your religion, your beliefs. Guys, we're getting hurt. Our life expectancy is being reduced. Look at what we're going through. Of course, the people who are complaining and saying this isn't right are clearly calling out what's not right. How is entering the future that we are entering right now into? Leaders that are openly talking about population control and reducing the population of the earth, actively trying to put things in your body and in your kids' minds and in your minds, basically actively reducing your life expectancy, the ability of you to breed, not just have children, but breed. You know what I'm saying? Like, having children is something very sensitive and sentimental and loving. It's very human. But the way they look at it is that you're breeding and that they're keeping you from breeding. When my sister or my brother wants to have a kid, I don't say that they're breeding. I say that they're going to have children. It's a beautiful thing. Who am I to say they can only have a certain amount, this and that? Oh, I don't like what they say. I don't like what they believe. Guys, that's where we are in right now. We talk about calling out the church of the past and how it used to do what it did, how everybody was snitching on everybody and all this stuff. And guys, look what we're going through right now. We're talking about bigotry and how people should be atheists nowadays and only believe in science. Look what we're seeing right now. Science is becoming the new bigotry. Not just scientifically giving us results that are real, tried and tested, but actually just applying propaganda to it. Basically saying, scientist, can you please say that this helps you when it doesn't? That's not right. I will pay you a lot of money. Oh yeah, science approves it. Quality checked. Do you guys see that? That's what we're going through right now. Same one thing with the church. Hey, Jesus loves you. And you don't hurt people. But then you're getting the Pope saying, if you hurt people, I'll make sure you have a ticket to heaven. Distorting. Hey, we got a democracy. Democracy is supposed to be when people don't agree with something or agree with something, they come to a consensus, a conclusion. They vote on it. Today, we're not seeing that. That's kind of what I'm saying. And when they're talking about socialism and this and that, and we're feeding the poor and empowering the worker and all this, guys, that's primitive as heck can be. Like, that's so primitive. That mindset of the workers are gonna raise up against the bosses and take down the crown and all that. Really? Is that what we're doing today? Is that what communism actually did? Or did a new crown, a type of different crown, take over and completely subject these nations with communism in the name of socialism and freedom and equality? It became the worst system on the planet. And right now, we can still catch what we are seeing right now growing in our country at its infancy and rooted out. And we have to. Guys, we still have our societies. We still have our lives. We just got to get them back. Jeff Lackey, this is why I don't make videos really as much anymore. And I think we should be making videos like this. We should be speaking out like this. We should. We shouldn't feel like we shouldn't have to. But not only should we be able to speak like this, but we should be able to have a good system. What the efforts we put into and all this stuff they're telling us, how it's supposedly good for us, we should have that system give back to us what we give to it properly. And we shouldn't feel like what we're saying is guilty. But then we shouldn't live in a society governed by people like this that make us feel like we always have to advocate, like we always have to fight for something. And if we're not doing it, we got to just keep our mouths shut. To the point where it changes us. Where men and women can't be men and women. It's like, oh, I have opinions, but you know what? I'm just going to be a completely different person. That's it. Like I really want to help that person, but you know what? No, I'm just gonna start being ignorant and just living wildly in order to avoid that. People are getting traumatized. It's like you got a person who's literally a hero in his heart, who wants to reach out and he can't. So now because he can't, they're like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Oh, that kid's suffering. They're telling me I'm doing something wrong. You know what? Screw it. I support the system. Yeah, hey, you know what? We got people helping out this kid already. People become ignorant. That's not what our countries are. That's not what our societies are. I may have immigrated here to North America, but where I came from, my culture, my Spanish-speaking culture, we believe in the exact same thing every patriot in the United States and Canada and all over the English-speaking world believes in. Respect people. Let live and let live. Anyways, guys, so that was my video, and that's it. My biggest love, my greatest hugs and loves and respect towards Jeff Lackey and his channel, Finley River Kennels. I'll leave a link below, and check out that man. He's a good man. You know, you stick in his community, he'll always talk to you and remember you and not let you just, be alone. And I come from a different kind of communities, different kind of society, different kind of upbringing, but just in the recent years with YouTube, being able to connect with people all around the world, getting to know different people and their personalities, it's really changed me as a person. It's really humbled me, and this is more why I advocate. This is not just about my family and my community and my kids here and people who I know and recognize. but also people who I've never met before who have their struggles. Someone who may be hungry like I am, like my kid is. Someone who may be alone, who may want someone to voice something out for them. And I've been through a lot of crap in my life. I've been through a lot where I've wanted help. I've wanted to be able to have someone defend me. And I haven't had that. Even from family in many senses, I haven't had that. And if I can give someone a voice, give someone help, I do. But then again, I'm not a politician. I didn't go to political science for 5 years to talk to people. I get angry. I get frustrated just like everybody else. I get mad and sad and happy and overexcited, and I make mistakes. I don't script my stuff. The whole time that I've been talking, I don't read from the corner of a screen. I don't sit here just reading here and reading here and reading here. And the whole time you think that I'm seriously engaging with you. But in reality, if you look at my eyes, I'm just reading stuff. Even on Fox News, they're here, oh, we're defending your rights, but they're still reading from a script. You know what I'm saying? Then you look at people who are actually speaking, and they're speaking from their heart. Those are the people getting censored. Why? We have the best people, the most creative people, speaking out of their heart, speaking out of real experiences, and they're being censored and favored for someone who's going like this. Because you're reading a damn script. I complain too much, guys. And I guess this is why you don't see me really much on YouTube. Or at least face to face like I used to. I guess what I'm saying is that I've lost. I don't believe in YouTube. I believe in the people that are on here, and that's why I still try to reach out. But every day I feel like my ideas, your ideas, all of our ideas, our society is being taken from us. And I have, like, literally, like I said, learning problems. If you look at my videos, I can't spell very well. I don't even know how to use some of my words. But I've had to learn and, like, evolve. And instead of just being able to enjoy overcoming disorders, I'm now using my newfound voice to advocate. And I'm seeing people who are professional, people who have 100% cognitive skills, being able to just bullshit. Sorry, just bull. It's unbelievable. And I get censored. They say that they want to hear everybody's voice, especially the most vulnerable in our society. Here I am voicing myself out after a lifetime of disorders and having speech impediments growing up. And I get censored for it. So clearly, even I, not being the most brightest, sharpest tool in the shed, can see that I'm not being appreciated. Not even that, but the best of our society. Who is the best? Do you have to know how to read and write properly to be the best? But what's considered the best? The most, the people who should care, the scientists, whatever, even the best of our society, let's just say it, are not being treated fairly for what they're doing. And the ones that are ones that have been taught and have the belief that they are above everybody else. And that you might have to cut some corners, abuse some people, have some people lose their lives in order for you to keep your job and be part of a good system, as long as you're not the ones at the bottom. Folks, my whole life that I've grown up in this country that I'm here right now, in North America, have I been taught that we've been trying to eliminate that? That's only in third world countries. Jeff Lackey, if you heard all this to the end, and whoever else has heard this to the end, thank you. I hope you understand me and this channel and where I have come from and why I upload my videos, how I upload them with such clumsiness sometimes. I think now you understand a little bit more broader and where I have been through and where I have come from and what I actually see in my viewers. I actually love you guys. I actually believe in you guys. You know, and there's a lot of people that are not doing good things, and I still wish the best for you guys. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in this man's words. And I'm going to die believing in that. And I feel like I don't have a place in my society, in this society. And even the people who say I don't have a place, I still believe in you. I think that you should really look at things and get on the right side. God bless everybody. Thank you very much. And that's it. So here's my son Leon. He has a bunch of food on his mouth because he was just eating. So that's what I've been focusing a lot of my time these days, trying to grow a family, and that's what we got some land for. So I bought, working on, but bought it, it's official, quite a bit of land. And it's enough to start a farm to live on and feed my family and keep nurturing it and growing it. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep nurturing and growing my family, and that's part of the reason why I advocate too. I don't want to grow up in a world where I buy land, specifically in a place like Canada, and they're land tenures, and we don't have actual ownership over our land. And then in the future, someone can say, "Oh, it's zoned differently, or this and that, or you can't hunt, you can't farm, you can't do this. Global warming, it's by a shore, a river, or so, you know what I'm saying? This tree needs to be protected, or something like that." I want to work with our system. I want to work with the forestry. I want to work to protect the landscapes. But in Canada, 95% of our land, or at least over 90% of our land, sits on crown land. So meaning it's managed or owned by the Queen of England or something like that. It's Canada for you. And it has these agencies blogging it, doing whatever, taking all the old growth forests out. And then yet, on the other 5% of the country's landmass, where there's only 37 million people in the whole country altogether, do we live like we're living in New York State? So people say that Canadians are wussies, and oh guys, we have a hard life. It's cold. We work more than we should work, and we don't even have rights. We don't even have free, like they say we have free speech, but we don't. We live under an authoritarian system, and look what Justin Trudeau's doing now. And I fear that one day I'm going to go to my land or do something. It's like there's going to be bureaucracy saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't even go to it. Oh, you got to quarantine, or because of a new legislation or mandate. That's serious. That's a fear. That's fear. That's for what? If I lived in England, where there's 80 million people, in Britain, where there's 80 million people, I can understand there being a lack of space and being more regulations. But in a place that's not almost the size of Russia, but it's like the second biggest country on the planet, coming close to the size of Russia, and this is how we live, like we're in the UK. We got censorship, we got regulations. They're telling us that we're destroying the planet from our 5% population, saying that Canada is one of the biggest polluters. It's like we're being blamed. It's like me and my child and the dog is causing this. Guys, we barely even get to use our resources. We get to pay an arm and a leg for our resources. Our resources are being sold elsewhere. Our politicians, our kings, are managing our resources in different ways. How are we polluting it if we can't barely even access a lot of our resources? How are we polluting from Canada? Our citizens. How is us on the 5% of the landmass destroying all the old growths if we can't even cut down a tree that the city planted 20 years ago outside our lot, reducing our lot, by like 10% because they got to put utilities in. I understand how that works. But then they plant a tree there that's wrecking our pipes, our utilities, popping up our foundation, and we can't even cut it. And if we cut it, there's a $200,000 fine. Are we the ones destroying the old growths? Climate lockdowns are saying that are coming next. That's serious, guys. That's serious. After a life of bull, that's the kind of fear I have to have because I bought some land. Can I even say that on YouTube without feeling fear as well? Guys, that's the environment we're in. This is the environment that all of us are seeing, and a lot of us are being converted to this environment. We don't want to ask questions. We just want to keep our head down. Some people in my family have done that to the point where they just don't want to ask any more questions. They're just, I don't want to lose my job. I just want to live. Just please. And then other people in my family who just don't know what to do or say. But everybody is thinking the same thing. This isn't right. Why are we living like this? Why are we like, this is hard. Like look at these runaway prices on real estate. Like why are we paying more for a home in Canada than people do in New York City? And in New York City, they seem to have better land rights than we do in all of Canada. That's a problem. But we know that New York's not obviously getting worse. That's kind of what I'm saying. We can all see it. This is a coalition of politicians. They're in it together. That's why we don't see new faces. That's why it's the same people. And whenever someone in one of the politicians in Ontario said, I'm not doing this, I'm not participating with this mandate, he shouldn't be doing this to other people, he's getting fired. So there, the faces that are familiar, who happen to use common sense, we get rid of. And then if we have a new face, it's one of their sons, one of their shills. That's serious. So there, you've heard it. You've heard a lot of my venting, a lot of my struggle. You know, and I hope that some of you who've seen this video response, you know, may say, hey, you know, maybe this guy could have responded in a different way. But you really want to know about who I am and about who the majority of people are right now. Unsung heroes, people in your community right now who are struggling to voice things out, are struggling for you. You know, this is what we're going through. The majority of us. It's like 90% of us. Well, the 10% are like helping persecute the 90% of us, helping us get censored, telling us that we are wrong, that we are bigots. Is this really what I'm saying? Is just to be a bigot? Alright guys, that's it. I've made the update. But because of Jeff Lackey's video response, you know, I think I should really look closer into making videos. If YouTube is doing this, you know, why should it affect the people who I love and I make videos for? I'm not making videos for YouTube. I'm making videos for this community, for people like Jeff Lackey, for people in the community that we have here. I thank you all. You guys are a great inspiration to all of us who make videos. That's what YouTube is. I can't say anymore. Thank you very much. Again, God bless you. Goodbye.